Hey everyone, hope you're all well. I, in the past, I mentioned a photo that I sold for $1,000 on Alamy, and I promised at that time that, or I suggested at that time at least, that I might make a video about that sale. So when you get $1,000 sale, that's a big deal. That's something that's potentially repeatable and can feed into your stock photography process. And I toyed with whether I want to share this or not, but ultimately I decided that since I'm actually not doing it, that I would be happy to share. And the point of this channel is to build a community around stock photography where I am actually sharing real tips, real advice, and sort of not necessarily worrying about myself too much. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did, what the image was, and I'm going to show you a few things about this so that you can do it yourself. Anyone, anywhere can do this. There's one caveat though. I'm going to show you the rules or guidelines that sort of govern this, and it will be totally up to you whether you decide to proceed or not. I am not giving any advice on whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just telling you that it's something that I actually did. And so, yeah, the risk was, to the extent there was any, was okay to me. So with that, I am going to show you or take you into the computer, and we're not into it, but we're going to switch to the computer, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so the photo that I sold was this shot of New York City, this famous view looking towards, I think it's the Manhattan Bridge. Now, you might ask me whether I took this photo or how I took it, and obviously I did not take this photo. This is a historical photograph that I got from the internet. I'm just going to show you one thing before I show you where I got it and how and why. So, photograph of New York City sold for $1,000. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is this is the Alamy Image Manager. On the right hand side, you will see that there is an option to upload reportage and archival images. There's a description of what that looks like, but you actually have to apply to be able to submit archival images. I'm not going to go through that because I'm not sure where that is anymore, but I did apply and I was accepted, and you have to sort of tick a few boxes saying that you're going to agree to some terms, but that's what I did. And so that New York image was uploaded under the archival option on Alamy Photos. All right, so now I'm going to take you to where I got the photo that specifically sold, where I got some other photos, and also what you could do too if you're so inclined. So jumping now to the next website is the New York Public Library. And the New York Public Library has a bunch of digital collections available on its website where you can download images. So they got a ton of options here, but I'm going to take you down and I'm going to draw your attention to this specific category of images. You will see that these are called public domain pics, and this is basically just a link to a whole bunch of digital photograph or illustrations or other media that are now public domain. And so you can see there's this box down here. It's called Changing New York, and it is a public domain collection. Before I show you these images, I'm going to take you back up to the top here to the digital collections homepage, and under here there is a bit of information that you might find helpful, that you might want to review as part of your due diligence into assessing this process for yourself. So let's just click Learn More. Now, if I scroll up, there's a section that starts basically here on items and permissions, where it goes through public domain and US copyright restrictions. And it basically goes through a bunch of material that you might want to look at. So, to date, they indicate that they have almost 315,000 public domain items that are essentially copyright free at this point and are totally public domain. Now you'll see that they do have some other qualifiers on them, including privacy, publicity, or other restrictions. So basically, privacy, you're looking at identifiable individuals like that. Publicity, I'm not too sure about. But yeah, they basically say there are no restrictions on use. And so that generally translates, in my view, although you may have a different view, into their being able to be used commercially, editorial, or however you want. And so being able to sell these images if you want to sell them. Okay, so let's just go back to the public domain sections now that we've sort of gone over that. And yeah, so down in the Changing New York collection, there are a whole bunch of images that are available for download. Now, there are a bunch of options. You can actually order them as art prints. Each of these options is a higher res option, and so I clicked on original to download the files. This was a high resolution TIFF file. And then I had the image on my computer and I was able to work with it. So that's how I got the images. And then so basically what I did was I brought the images into Lightroom and I took the original file and basically started editing. I put in a massive amount of time to clean up these files, to make them true black and white, to take the sort of the haze out of them, all the lines and sort of scars on the file, because a lot of these are glass plate negatives that have a lot of problems. And so I ended up taking a ton of time reworking these images, editing them in Photoshop, removing scratches, dust, other flaws, and then I uploaded them all to, or not all, the ones that I actually did to Alamy. And I'll just give you a sort of a quick sample of what some of those images were and how they kind of translated into identifiable files. Yeah, and so of all those images, this image of New York is the only one that's sold, but it sold for a great amount. And I'm sure there may be other opportunities to sell additional images in the future. So yeah, that's what I did. All right, so hopefully that was interesting at least. Would love to hear in the comments whether this is something that you would consider doing, whether you actually will do it, or whether you think this is just totally not going to happen for you based on, either the rules that I showed you or just your personal approach to the world. Anyway, If you haven't already, would love if you subscribed and hit that like button. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.